I have it right here.
Oh. Somebody took the rolling pin back? Oh.
Yeah, that thing doesn't sound as good when you hit it with the gong.
This is okay for quiet, but when you're in an arc, you need that rolling pin. That's for sure. Sarachanda Bhanti Suraramana Kanti Gadavati Longer pause. Saraguna Netan Karakalita Vecham Kaligira Vajani Janandam Vajana Taru Khandam Deravati Rasana Mangaram Sajana Ganan Sarvasamachuram Kariye Kakana Pratama Vasura Jana Bhavati Sarabhimanadam Paramavaritam Rangamanasam Bhajanitananda Bhajana Charu Khandam Niravati Sachi Sunu Krishnam Nikila Jagadisham Sukhamayam Kalamajativo Karana Karano Harana Kiranadva Bhavatara
transcendental moods, the Bhavs, the Srimati Radhika. A minute particle of his mercy purifies all the three worlds. I offer pranam to the beautiful son of Mother Sachi.
Within his heart, transformations of love cause his voice to falter. His great roar strikes terror in the hearts of atheists, and his compassion nullifies the fear evoked by mundane existence. Offer pranam to the beautiful son of Mother Sachi.
He wears cloth of the saffron hue of the rising sun, and his cheeks are charming. His fingernails and toenails radiate the brilliance that eclipses the glory of the full moon, and he receives immense bliss by performing the kirtan of his own names and virtues. Offer pranams to the beautiful son of Mother Sachi.
Streams of tears flow from his lotus eyes. His body is adorned with ever new transformations of bhav, and in his pastimes of dance, his movements flow most gently. I offer pranam to the beautiful son of Mother Sachi.
The restless movements of his beautiful feet are very attractive. Those 2 feet are adorned with delightful tinkling ankle bells. His cooling face reproaches the moon. I offer pranam to the beautiful son of Mother Sachi.
Around his waist he wears a cloth belt for kopin, door, and he holds a kamandalu and a danya. His divine body is crowned with a shaven head. With his danda he vanquishes the sins of the wicked. I offer pranam to the beautiful son of Mother Sachi.
His curling locks of hair are ornamented by the dust from the earth, which rises as he dances, and his captivating limbs, crimson like bamboo fruit, quiver. His body is adorned with bright tilak made of Malaya sandalwood. Offer pranam to the beautiful son of Mother Sachi.
The shape of his eyes challenges the elongated form of a reddish lotus petal. His beautiful arms extend down to his knees, and his form is graced with the attire of a youthful dancer. I offer pranam to the beautiful son of Mother Sachi.
We'll just sing the next song. Right there.
What's the next one? I want to do Saki.
Radha Chintanavation. It takes a minute. I mean, this explains how Radha and Krishna become Lord.
Whose side can you go to now? He's later to the sound.
Page
340.
340.
Ready. You gonna sing it? Give me one. The baby one. You have your own mic stand too.
Is it near you now?
Sake kalaya gora
magnanimous Sri Gauranga, whose body left rebukes the splendor of gold and who smashes the pride of Cupid. His curly locks, which depict the splendor of dark rain clouds, are adorned with malati flowers surrounded by delighted honeybees. His tilak insults the beauty of the moon, and his attire enchants the whole world.
His smile, sweet like honey, allures the embodied beings. His pastimes are filled with unparalleled sentiments of pure love, Bhakti. His mind is captivated by the heroine of Niduvana, as he utters indecipherable words in a choked voice. It is his nature to distribute mercy to those souls who are utterly destitute, having no wealth other than Krishna in service to him, as well as to those who hanker for material possessions. His incomparable pastimes have thrown this foolish person named Radha Mohan into confusion.
What, you don't want that music?
You want to sing something?
What you got in there? Got this lady side.
The mic is almost.
What,
Maybe we'll take it.
so we're just, what should I sing?
Yeah, what to sing? A Krishna song.
Krishna and Radha.
Or another Gaura song.
Well, I know, there's one I heard in Vrindavan with Prabhuji that I've been listening to, and like, it just dawned on me and I fit the time, but I'll need you to play Rebecca.
What song?
It's, Hari Bol Bol Madana Mohan, but it's in like Matha now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it would,
Like,
What page would that be?
okay.
one to try it, I don't know how well.
Udilo?
I'll find it. It's by Laura Thomas.
How does it start?
Hari Bol Bolanar Madana Mohan, Hari Bol Bol. Hari Bol Bolanar Madana Mohan, Hari Bol Bol.
Hey, Rupe.
Vedupera Vajarapati, Hari Bol Bol.
Oh, it's the 143.
143.
Oh,
Bol Bolanar Madana Mohan, Hari Bol Bol. Hari Bol Bolanar Madana Mohan, Hari Bol Bolanar Madana Mohan, Hari Bol. Hari Hari Rahi Bogo Nikunje Hari Hari Rahi Bogo Bulbulanar Madana Mohan Hari Bogo Bulbulanar Madana Mohan Hari Bogo Erupera Bajara Bhaji Hari Bogo Erupera Bajara Bhaji Hari Bogo Vipine Vinoda Tera Sangha Tera Kale Mela Vipine Vinoda Tera Sangha Tera Kale Mela Ade Charanera Duli Maki Bogo Ade Charanera Duli Maki Bogo Ade Charana Duli Maki Bogo Bulbulanar Madana Mohan Hari Bogo Bulbulanar Madana Mohan Hari Bogo Sabe Bhajavasi Purailo Abhirasi Sabe Bhajavasi Purailo Abhirasi Arthabe Krishna Vamshi Shumi Bogo Arthabe Krishna Vamshi Shumi Bogo Bulbulanar Madana Mohan Hari Bogo Hari Bulbulanar Madana Mohan Hari Bogo Erupera Bajara Bhaji Erupera Bajara Bhaji Erupera Bajara Bhaji Hari Bogo Edeha Antimakare Raki Bo Jamuna Jale Edeha Antimakare Raki Bo Shri Yamuna Jale Tera Govinda Bole Basi Bogo Joy Radha Govinda Bole Basi Bogo Basi Bogo Radha Govinda Bole Basi Bogo Hari Bole Bolanar Madana Mohan Hari Bogo Hari Bole Bolanar Madana Mohan Hari Bogo Bye.
Let's do the English. That was great. I will chant the names of Hari and behold Mother Mohan. On such a state, I shall travel the path to Braj.
I will go to the land of Braj, become the new Pur, the anklet on the bells of the ankle bells on the feet of the gopis, and will chime there very sweetly. I'll gaze upon the sweet beauty of Sri Radha and Krishna to the full satisfaction of my eyes, and I will stand at the entrance of the Nikunjas.
Charming pastimes will take place in the forest of Braj, in the playful assembly of the cowherd boys. I will smear the dust of their lotus feet on my body. O residents of Braj, please fulfill my heart's desire. O when will I hear the sound of Krishna's flute?
When the time comes for this body's demise, I will place it in the waters of the Jamuna, and as it floats, I will chant, all glories to Radha Govinda.
Yay.
Narottam Das laments, my desires have not been fulfilled. Oh, when will I attain residence in Braj?
Beautiful. Yeah.
Which?
Let me sing Mahamatra.
Okay. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Haribol Bhavan Natham Thakur. That's called Haribol Bhavan Madan Mohan.
Srila Gurudev often quotes that, that I will become a Newport ankle bell and jingle for you.
I
That
sang
way
that.
I'll be able to look up and see your pastimes.
I sang that from Mula Prakriti Devi when she passed away.
Oh. Together. Ajnanam timerantasya jnanasakaya chakshurunmitamina tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadavaktaya Namo Namah Yam Pravajantam Anupektam Apektakritam Dvaipaya Potretikam Mayataya Taruho Vedus Tam Sarvabhuta Vilayam Monimanatosmi Bhaktya Vinay Aparadulakshay Chaktasya Kamai Tarangamadre Kripanayitvam Sharanam Prapaya. In the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Dikshit, Nichalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astotri Sat Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj. And also to the lotus feet of Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Goswami Maharaj, Srila Gaura Govinda Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Gaura Prabhupada, and all his divine associates. Happy day today. The whole universe is happy today. Gaura Purnima, the divine appearance day of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. We've just culminated a very successful Gaura Mandal Parikrama. Can I have another mic? Acharya of the Lakshmi Sampradaya, Sri Ramanuja. And Sri Ramanuja, although he's the Acharya of the Lakshmi Sampradaya that worships Lakshmi Narayan, and he was previously training his disciples in servitorship to Lord Narayan. When he heard about Mahaprabhu, he had a great attraction to Gopi Bhav, Madhurya Bhav. He met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He didn't want to leave, but Mahaprabhu told him to keep everything teaching Lakshmi Narayan worship. So we're seeing that on this Navadvip Parikrama, the Lord Chaitanya, he's actually the instructor of all the Sampradaya Acharyas, according to the inclination or taste that was put in the living entity at the time of their creation, our creation. Everyone has a different tendency to worship the Lord or incarnation of the Lord in a different fashion. So according to that, there needs to be 4 sampradayas. So of course, who is the controller of all the sampradayas? They're not independent. They're all guided by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So yesterday, like last year, we did not complete Mahaprabhu's meeting the other Sampradaya Acharyas. And what happened when the impersonalist Sampradaya Acharya, Shankaracharya, tried to get into Navadvip? What happened to him? He was forcibly sent out, yes. So generally, when the devotees are in Rutadvip, everybody sits by the river and hears these pastimes. So I'll just, now we're here in, where are we? We're in Mayapur, because it's Mahaprabhu's appearance day. We just circumambulated and worshipped Srila Gurudev as a samadhi. We crossed the river. Here we are in Mayapur, and we are remembering Rutadvip. We are with, sorry?
Let's stop at Srila Bharti
In Mayapur. Before that, we're stopping at Srila Bharti Maharaj's Samadhi and Srila Puri Maharaj's Samadhi right next door. Offering our obeisances, rolling in the dust, putting the dust on our head, eyelids, tongue, and heart, and begging their mercy for a successful completion of parikrama and glorification of Mahaprabhu's tattva and pastimes on this divine day. So now we're at the feet of Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Jiva Goswami, and Nityananda Prabhu is personally speaking with us. Oh Prabhu, you're not a book. You are Nityananda Prabhu yourself. You are Srila Jiva Goswami yourself. You are Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur yourself and Srila Gurudev yourself. All of you have made this Harikatha possible. So we beg that you please shower your mercy on us so that we can become free from doubt in the reality of Navadvita, and we can come out of the whole thing with Radhadasyam. So now Nityananda Prabhu is telling us about Sri Madhva's arrival in Mahatpur. Mahatpur is part of Gojumadweep. And then he's taking Jiva and us to Rudradweep. Sri Gaura Sundar was very merciful to Madhudweep, who resided at this place for a long time. He appeared to him in a dream, and he bestowed his darshan and his extremely enchanting form. Smiling, he said, "Everyone knows that you are my eternal servant. When I appear in Navadvip, I will accept your sampradaya." So he must be a pretty amazing personality. Ultimately, he's a manifestation of Lord Shiva, who's ultimately a manifestation of who? Gopishwar Mahadev in Vrindavan, right outside the Rasa Lila. Now, with great effort, carefully uproot the false scriptures of Mayavad everywhere. Reveal the glories of the deity. You know his deity who? Dadi Mantra Gopal.
Wait, who's he talking to right now?
Madhvacharya.
All right. Am I about
I will further develop your pure doctrine, Sutta Advaita. Sorry, not Advaita. Sutta Dvaita, because it's going to defeat Advaita. Yes, that's why he's standing, sitting. It's not peace. Dvaita, two differences. Difference between Jiva and Jiva. Difference between Jiva and Maya. Difference between Bhagavan and Jiva.
And difference between Maya and Maya.
And difference between one material thing and another.
That's why they say Jad.
Jad,
Jeev, Jad.
Jad,
Jeev,
Jad,
Ishwar,
Jeev, Jeev. Jad, Jeev.
Are you counting?
Bhagavan, Jeev. Bhagavan, Jad.
Right.
That's five.
5 dualities.
Right. There's three topics: Jeev, Ishwar, and Jad. But there's not 6 kinds of Veds because there's no Ved between Ishwar and Ishwar.
Right.
So there's 5, not 6.
So, having spoken thus, Gaurachandra disappeared. When Madhva woke up, welcome. Thank you for putting us in a timely fashion. We're so happy with that.
At least someone showed up at the right time.
No, I mean, didn't you say that we're not on time?
What's that?
Didn't you say we're not on time?
Yeah.
We're late? Well, now when we heard that, we became on time.
Okay.
Now everything's on time.
Very nice.
So thank you for that. Gurudev was always on time for everything.
About the differences between objects and objects, one time Prabhupada held up his pen to a gentleman, a Mayavadi, who gets all confused, because they think that even dead matter is alive. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, everything is Brahma. But they don't know the variegatedness of the unconscious material nature. So it's, everything is one. Ramakrishna slogan. So Prabhupada held up a pen and said, "This is a pen. If you call it a glass, I will give you a slap."
That's a good one.
This is a pen.
If you call a pen a glass, I will give you a slap, Prabhupada said. So, then he woke up, and then he fell unconscious, fainting, having remembered that Mahaprabhu just spoke to him. When he came back to his senses, he said, "I will be able to see that beautiful golden perfection form," and he began to weep. Nice to know that our Sampradaya Acharya does those things. Just then he heard a divine voice from a clear sky. Worship me secretly. As a result of your worship, you will come to me, Gaura is saying. When he heard the divine voice speak, he regained his composure and then set out to defeat the Mayavadis. As they recounted and heard these old narrations, they means Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Jiva Goswami, Ishan Thakur was also there, Vangsi Vadana, the incarnation of Krishna's flute in the form of Sachimata's servant. We are all arriving in Rudradweep, the island of Rudra, Sri Shivji. Upon reaching there, Nityananda Prabhu said, this Rudradweep has been divided into two parts by the power of the river Bhagirati, or Ganges River. By the will of Mahaprabhu. What doesn't happen by the will of Mahaprabhu? Nothing. No people reside here now. Just see, because of the flow of Sri Ganga, the western island is moving towards the eastern bank. Now, Sri Shankarapur. Look how the entire Shankarapur, which is situated on the bank of the Ganga, is beautified. Once, Sri Shankaracharya, who established the Mayavad doctrine, welcome, Prajnamohan Prabhu, who established the Mayavad doctrine, who's actually Lord Shiva, who's coming from Gopeswar Mahadev. He, during his scholarly conquests, trying to make everybody a Mayavadi,
He succeeded almost.
he was pretty good. Why was he pretty good? Because the order of the Lord was there, and because Shankar, Lord Shiva, is very powerful.
He'd already gotten practice swallowing an ocean of poison.
Yeah. And destroying all the bodies of the living entities at the time of destruction, when he does that dance for 36,000 years of fire and 36,000 years of flood. Thus he's Natavara, Shivji. Once he came here for the purpose of defeating the scholars of Navadvip. Although Acharya Shankar in his heart was the best of the Vaishnavas. What's that verse? That phrase? Fourth canto.
Nitagaram yata ganga.
Vaishnavanam Jata Sambhu. Since this place is generally for my devotees, it is not proper to spread. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped a page. So, although he was that externally, he wore the dress of a Mayavadi, he was really Shambhu, Lord Shiva. Although he was a partial incarnation of Rudra and greatly talented, still he skillfully preached Mayavad philosophy. Although he was doing nothing but following the order of the Lord, when he came to Navadvip, to Nadia, Gaurachandra appeared to him in a dream and mercifully spoke to him with sweet words. You are my servant. You are diligently preaching Mayavad to fulfill my order. But Sri Navadvip Dham is most dear to me, and therefore Mayavad cannot be preached here. Here, Vrita Shiva, so you're an expansion of Rudra Shiva, but Vrita Shiva, so Shiva in another form, together with Prodha Maya, Yoga Maya, or Parvati Maya, spreads a false explanation of the Agama scriptures. They only preach to those who have enmity towards my devotees, because their sole purpose is to deceive those people who are against my devotees. They'll always be deceived, deluded. Since this place, Navadvip Dham, is generally for my devotees, It's not proper to spread Mayavad here. So go somewhere else. Don't cause pain to the residents of Navadvip. From this dream, Shankar Acharya understood the truth about Sri Navadvip Dham. So he went elsewhere. He was joyful at heart to follow Mahaprabhu's order. So there's no Satan, no such thing as Satan. This Rudradvip is the place of the 11 Rudras. Together what do? They glorify Sri Gaura Hari. I'm wearing on my head like a coconut.
Glasses on, long side.
I think it's time to.
She's an extra medium.
Just push harder, it'll go down. It's just flowers.
So you wear like
I was almost a gopi. I wasn't
Sorry.
making. So Rudra is called Nil Lohita. Means he's some black, some blue, some red. So here, Rudra continuously dances in joy. He dances and makes 36,000 years of fire and flood. And here in Navadvip, he dances in joy. Seeing his dance, the demigods in heaven also become happy and shower flowers. Once, another Sampradayacharya came, Vishnu Swami, because he's the head of the Rudra Sampradaya. He also came here with his disciples. He was on tour defeating opposing philosophies. He spent the night here in Rudradvip. While here, his disciples started chanting Hari Hari, and Vishnu Swami himself began to recite prayers and stutis, meaning different kinds of hymns. Extremely pleased by their deliberation on bhakti, Rudra himself mercifully appeared there. Upon seeing his form, Vishnu Swami became greatly astonished and folded his palms and praised him. Then Rudradev said, "You Vaishnavas are extremely dear to me. My heart is satisfied by your discussions on bhakti. Ask any boon you like from me. I will mercifully grant it." So Lord Shiva doesn't really like when people worship him. He likes when people worship his Lord. And when the people worship him, the demons, and he gives them a boon, it always includes a hole in it, a loophole. Because there's nothing that I won't give to the Vaishnavas. So we can pray to Gopeswara Mahadev for any boon. After offering his prostrated obeisances and feeling supreme joy, Vishnu Swami folded his hands, and let's see what boon he prayed for. Welcome, Mohini. O Lord, please give us such a boon by which we may attain perfection within any sampradaya that preaches bhakti. In great happiness, Rudra bestowed upon them a benediction and accepted them within his own sampradaya. So, the Rudra Sampradaya, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Oh, Krishnadasi's mother is here. Welcome.
Thank you.
See, the Rudra Sampradaya doesn't worship Lord Shiva, they worship Lord Krishna. But he's the head of it, because he is the greatest Vaishnava.
Because there he's not preaching Mayavad.
I'm sorry?
Because there he's not preaching Mayavad.
Yeah. So Vishnu Swami thus established his own sampradaya, named the Rudra Sampradaya, and began to dance and sing. We're seeing how it all happens. All where? In Navadvip. Navadvip Dham. By the mercy of Rudra, Sri Vishnu Swami stayed at that very place and began to worship Gaurachandra with the purpose of attaining divine love. In his dream, Gauranga Mahaprabhu told him, "We're all welcome to Rudradweep, everybody. You have received mercy of my devotee Rudra," Gauranga Mahaprabhu said. "You are blessed because in Navadvip you have received the wealth of bhakti. Now go and spread the philosophy of Shuddha Advaita, purified non-dualism. After some time, when I will appear as Gaura Hari, you will take birth as Sri Ballabha Bhatt." So that pastime of Ballabha Bhatt trying to defeat the Vaishnavas, it's all pastime. Because it's all from the order of the Lord in order to establish the philosophy of pure bhakti. Isn't that so interesting?
In that pastime where he went to the Ganga with Rupa Goswami, and he went to the Yamuna with Rupa Goswami, with Jiva Goswami.
Yeah, he appeared to be defeated, but it was all the arrangement of the Lord. After meeting me at Sri Chetra, you will go to Mahavan and promote your sampradaya. Then we're hearing from Nityananda Prabhu, and he's saying, "Oh Jiva," he's talking to us too because we're Jivas. "Now Sri Vallabhacharya is in Gokul, in Vrindavan. When you go to Braj, you will get his darshan." And that's what happened, just like Dina Prabhu said. Jiva, he appeared to say to Rupa Goswami, "Oh, I'll edit your work," and Jiva said, "What? You found a mistake in my Guru's work? I don't believe it." And then he defeated his argument. It's all pastime. Beautiful. So we're going to find out because we want to discuss, wow, so the different parts of, as you know, the different parts of Navadvip are the different parts of Braj. So Nityananda is taking us to Paradanga, which is the place of Dear Samir, where Krishna played his flute and attracted the gopis. And why is this place that we're in right now called Dear Samir? It's because hearing Krishna's flute, the air became so ecstatic that you know how when you're ecstatic you could barely move and you move like that? So the breeze could barely move. He became very heavy. And so this place is called Dear Samir, where Krishna played his flute and called the gopis for dancing.
Normally we say that the wind moves fast because that's its nature, but because of Krishna everything gives up its dharma, so now even the wind has become slow.
Now, everything gives up its dharma when Krishna plays its flute. So, Bangsivat, the place where Krishna played his flute. And that Bangsivat is on the bank of the Jahnavi in Navadvip. Here, Sri Krishna eternally performs the Ras Leela with the gopis.
Where is that exactly that Dear Samir is?
I'm sorry?
Where exactly in Navadvip is Dear Samir manifest?
Well, we're in Rudradvip, and then we went to Paradanga.
Okay.
This appears, where we are now, to be the bank of the Ganga, but actually it's not so, because Jamuna also flows right here. Jamuna is on one side and the Ganga is on the other.
And Keshavji Gaudiya Math is on the Yamuna side.
And Keshavji Gaudiya Math is on the Jamuna side. And Mahaprabhu told Mahaprabhu, here Ganga has the same potency as Jamuna. That was that discussion, remember, when we were, where were we yesterday?
In Akbar's court.
Akbar's court. Which is superior, Ganga or Jamuna? Generally Jamuna is superior, but here Gangas and Jamuna are the same. Because Mahaprabhu, who's not different from Radha and Krishna, bathes in the Ganga here. That's why Sachinandana called this beautiful place on the bank of the Jamuna Vrindavan. There's no difference between Vrindavan and Navadvip. Never see any difference between Gaura and Krishna. Then we're proceeding north with Nityananda Prabhu and Jiva, spending the night in Rudradvip. Nimbaditya. Nimbaditya is part of the what sampradaya?
Chatusan.
Now there's 4 sampradayas. Brahma, that's us.
Brahma Madhva, you should say.
Brahma Madhva, yes, I should say that. And then Rudra, Lord
Rudra
Shiva
Ballava.
Sampradaya, that's Ballavacharya. And then Sri Sampradaya, that's Ramanujacharya. And now we're going to see how Nimbaditya, who is the Sampradaya Acharya of the Chatusan, the 4 Kamaras Sampradaya. Very interesting. And every year, Gurudev and his disciples speak this katha in Rudradvip. We can picture ourselves sitting at the bank of the Ganga. There's this very big field, enough room for 20,000 people as they pass around the Dobbs. So Nimbaditya was one. Okay, let's go back. So this place is Bilvavan, where Lakshmi performed her austerities. Behold this same place in Navadvip, because all holy places, Vaikuntha, all holy places in Braj, all holy places where Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken, Naimisharanya, all holy places are here. What's the difference between here and the other place where they are? Here it's full, and there it's part. So Panchamukh, 5-faced Lord Shiva. Shana, is this okay for you? Are you familiar with the philosophy somewhat? Okay. So he came to Navadvip and worshipped here, along with many brahmanas. Then, in that divine forest, Lord Shiva appeared and said to him, "Oh, the 4 Kumars? They came here to Rudradvip. The 4 Kumars, little boys. They came and they embraced Nimbaditya. Who are you?" they asked him. "Why have you come here? Please introduce yourself. We will certainly fulfill your desire."
So
When he
what
heard,
chapter?
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, what chapter?
16. When he heard their words, Nimbaditya first offered them obeisances, after which, in great humility, he told them about himself. The Supreme Lord transmitted his power into 4 devotees and sent them to spread bhakti throughout the world. These 4 Sampradaya Acharyas. Now we'd like to find out how Lord Chaitanya accepted 2 of the features.
That's my favorite
I
part of the
lost
whole
it.
book.
Hmm?
It's my favorite part of the whole book, that part.
Me too.
Yeah, glad.
What
What a coincidence.
Srimad Mahaprabhu accepted 2 essential features from each sampradaya, which he created actually, because of the different kinds of living entities. Who is he speaking to?
Nimbaditya.
He's speaking to Nimbaditya.
Yeah, still.
O great personality, From the Madhva Sampradaya, I will accept two essential principles. The refutation of the Mayavad philosophy and service to Sri Krishna's deity form. If you go to Madhva's place, that beautiful opulent deity in Udupi, Dadi Mantra, Gopal. Because that form, that deity is eternal. So I will accept worship of the deity and defeat of Mayavad. From Sri Ramanujacharya, I will accept exclusive devotion, Ananya Bhakti, and service to the devotees. From Sri Vishnu Swami, I will accept the sentiment that Krishna is my everything, and the path of spontaneous devotion, that is Ragamarg. So, from your Sampradaya, Nimbaditya, I will accept two supremely essential principles. So, to exclusively take shelter of the lotus feet of Radha,
Jai.
Ekanta Radhigashraya, exclusive shelter. Hare Krishna Malati, welcome. Speaking thus, and the sentiments of the gopis. Speaking thus, he disappeared. Nimbaditya began to weep, intoxicated by praying. So here's Mahaprabhu's philosophy. He just added Achintya Beta Bheda philosophy to make it his own philosophy. Okay. So we're going to offer obeisances to the four Sampradaya Acharyas and to Nityananda Prabhu and Jiva Goswami. And now we're going to discuss the birth, baby, and childhood pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
I just have a quick question.
Yes.
You said for the Rudra Sampradaya that it was Vallabhacharya, or was that?
Yes, Vallabhacharya.
Because it says Vishnu Swami, and then I had a question.
I'm sorry, let's figure it out.
Well, I just wanted to know about Sridhar Maharaj, because he wrote that commentary. I thought he appeared before Vallabhacharya.
Sridhar Swami?
Or Sridhar Swami, who wrote the I thought he appeared before Vallabhacharya. That's why I was thinking like I don't know, I was just trying to...
He appeared before, yes.
So
yes.
is it more common?
Vishnu Swami is the founder of that Sampradaya. Centuries later, Sridhar Swami writes the commentary on
Wait,
and then
let's go back.
Just
a
give
bit.
him the mic. He's saying it correct. Yes.
Yeah,
This is
take the mic
this
for
is the
one
answer to the
thing.
question.
Give him the TV show. Can you give him the TV show? Thank you.
Vishnu Swami appears, we can the
Thousands of years.
dates, centuries,
Close,
thousands
close,
years
close.
ago in Kali Yuga.
Sorry.
He's the founder of the Rudra Sampradaya. Centuries later, Sridhar Swami writes the commentary, and in that commentary, I think that is the first time you see a commentator filling in the words of Radha Krishna. And Krishna would have said, and maybe Krishna would have answered, and Radha would have answered, and then Krishna could say this and that. So then comes Vallabhacharya, who tells Mahaprabhu, I've actually changed and defeated, surpassed Sridhar Swami, and Mahaprabhu says that is like prostitution. So you should not disobey your Swami. But he's doing it in a kind and joking way. That led to a court case, but...
Is it clear now?
Huh?
Yeah, okay, so he came later at the time. That's why I was just wondering...
Vishnu Swami, Sridhar Swami, Vallabha.
Okay, but is he
Oh,
common?
It is a non sequitur. That's what you're picking up because we're saying that the Sampradacharya's that are from thousands of years ago. But when we say Vallabha Bhakti, he's only from Mahaprabhu's time, so that's a non-sequitur.
Well, I mean, is when people now, like Raj, when they think of the Rudra, they think of Vallabhacharya, is that like the, more than they do?
Yes.
Oh, we
It's
do.
called
I don't know about
Pushti-
everyone, but
It's called Pushti Marga.
yeah.
And they've taken the Gopal deity of Madhavendra Puri that appears under the word, and they've taken it to Rajasthan somewhere, and
Pushkar.
most of our Gujarati
No.
Vaishnavas who worship are initiated in Vallabhacharya. Most of them worship Balakrishna, Laddu Gopal. How that happened, I don't know. But and they've rewritten some things about Mahaprabhu that aren't accurate at all.
How many devotees here know Vaishnavas in all four sampradayas?
Let's move on to me.
There's a painting like this.
That's hysterical.
Yeah. Oh, it's true.
Okay, so here are the four Sampradaya Acharyas. We offer obeisances to all, pray for their mercy, because they're under the direction of Mahaprabhu, and we want to be.
In Bhakti Daita, Madhav Maharaj's Mat, he had portraits. These portraits are in the main hall of the wall for
And so do we in our temples. So we are now going to be glorifying the birth, babyhood, and youth pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Would anybody like to begin? Basanti will come right here, and she will read to us Srila Bhakti began Pariti Goswami's Maharaj's glorification of Mahaprabhu's birth, babyhood, and youth pastimes. A little summary. And please take the TV set.
Okay, this is lecture of Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Maharaj from 2010. Jubilation over the Lord's birth. People have arrived here to perform Navadvip Dham Parikrama, and today is the last day of the Parikrama. Today is the Adivas Titi of the appearance day of Gaur. That makes it was the night before. It is observed that the demigods recite hymns and prayers, stavs and stutis, glorifying the Lord. Srila Advaita Acharya was greatly pained by the pitiful state of the world, where no one engaged in performing Hari Bhakti, except a few pious souls who would chant the names of Govinda or Pundarikaksha while taking bath. All the Vaishnavas were despondent. Srila Advaita Acharya considered, unless my Prabhu, Bhagavan, descends, there is no means of deliverance. Thus he roared loudly, calling out to Bhagavan to descend. When Gaur appeared, Srila Advaita Acharya felt great ecstasy. Srila Haridas Thakur also experienced great jubilation and began to dance with Srila Advaita Acharya. They attempted to postulate the apparent cause behind their jubilation that day, but failed.
No, why they were happy.
They didn't even know why they were happy, yeah. But failed to ascertain it. Why? This in itself is Bhagavan's Bhagavata, Godhood. Sri Vrindavan Thakur has repeatedly cautioned, who can know Bhagavan unless he reveals himself? Srimati Sita Devi, the wife of Advaita Acharya, arrived in Mayapur from Shantipur because they had received news that the child had been born to Mother Sachi. Previously, Mother Sachi had given birth to many daughters who died prematurely, and later Vishwarup was born to her. So all those who gathered recited prayers and glories, stav stuti of the child, and in order to protect him from all evil influences, he was named Nimai, after Neem, which is bitter and by nature defends any kind of harm, and also because he was born under a neem tree. In this way, he was protected from fear and danger. But does the Lord have any fear? Sri Advaita Acharya had a school in Mayapur, which Nimai's elder brother Vishwarup would attend. On the order of his mother, Nimai would go there to fetch his brother. Although Nimai used to visit every day, still Advaita Acharya failed to recognize him as his worshipable Lord. Yet whenever young Nimai would call for his brother, Vishwarup, saying, "Mother is calling you, please come," Shiladwaitacharya would become enchanted by the sight of Nimai's beautiful face. The point I want to make here is, in spite of witnessing all these pastimes, could Srila Advaitacharya understand the Lord? No. Not until the Lord exhibited Shata Paharya Bhav and revealed his divine form for 21 hours sitting on the altar of Vishnu, having the deities on his lap, while manifesting his four-handed form
He
in
had a deity
full
on his lap.
opulence. Aishwarya Murti. At that time, the Lord instructed Sri Ram Pandit, the younger brother of Srivas Pandit, to call Srila Dvaitacharya along with his wife, Srimati Sita Devi, to perform his worship. Srila Dvaitacharya came, but instructed Sri Ram Pandit to tell Sriman Mahaprabhu that he had not come. While returning, Sri Ram Pandit was in anxiety, thinking, the Lord is a protector of the surrendered souls. He protects and takes away the impediments. Prabhu is omniscient, therefore how can I say to him that Srila Dvaitacharya has not arrived?
How can I lie to God?
At the same time, how can I not follow the instructions of Srila Dvaitacharya? He was in a great dilemma, but then Sriman Mahaprabhu said, I know Srila Dvaitacharya has come and hid himself in Nanda Acharya Bhavan, and you have been instructed to say that he has not come. The Lord is Bhaktarti Harana, the remover of the distresses of the devotees. He heard the prayers of Sri Ram Pandit and relieved him of his distress. They all saw him day in and day out, meeting him often during his student pastimes, but no one could recognize him as the Supreme Lord amongst them. This is Bhagavan's Bhagavata. In Chaitanya Bhagavat, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur repeatedly chants, Ke Tane Janite Pare Yadi Na Janaya. Who can know the Lord unless he reveals himself? No one can know Tad Vastu, the Lord, by knowledge, mind, or intelligence. There's a nice verse from Kata Upanishad, Nayamatma Pravachanena. The Supreme Lord is not known by expert explanations, by vast intelligence, nor even by much study of scriptures. So who can know him? Only one who is surrendered unto him can know him. The Supreme Lord will manifest his own form, Shamasundaru, before such a person. This is a fact. He had to self-manifest and reveal himself. He will not manifest by any other process except his own will. In order to prove the words of his devotees, he appeared from the pillar, taking the form of Nishingadev. Nimai sent to school. Vishnu later left home and accepted sannyas. Crestfallen, Nimai's parents feared that Nimai would also leave home if he continued studies and understood the world to be temporary. For this reason, Nimai's education was stopped. Nimai never transgressed any instructions of his parents, so his studies were stopped. One day, Nimai went and sat on a pile of discarded, used earthen pots. When his mother saw this, she said, now that you have sat on soiled pots, you have to purify yourself by taking a bath in the Ganga. In turn, he said, I am a foolish Brahmin. I do not know what is pure and what is impure. You are not giving me the opportunity to study the scriptures. So how can I know the difference between pure and impure? At that time, with the black soot from the charred pot smeared on his golden limbs, Nimai appeared very beautiful. The neighbors began to question, which enemy ill-advised you to not educate your child? Mother Sachi responded, Vishwarup left home after his studies, so rather than Nimai treading the same path, I prefer that he remains like a fool. Hey, Gaura, we're telling stories about Nimai. He loves stories.
Temple boy.
So rather than Nimai treading the same path, I prefer he remains like a fool at home without acquiring any education. This is my only objective. One neighbor replied, my child does not wish to study. I have to forcibly send him to study, and your child wants to study, and yet you stopped him? This is unfair. It was then decided that Nimai's study should resume. So Sri Jagannath Mishra admitted Nimai into Sri Gangadas Pandit's school. As he began to study, it was observed that he learned very quickly and he could easily memorize his lessons. personification of humility. In his later pastimes, he won a debate with the Digvijay Pandit by finding a fault in his composition. No scholar dared to come before the Digvijay Pandit. The Digvijay Pandit said to Nimai, "Your specialization seems to be different. You are a grammar teacher." Nimai replied, "I take pride in being a grammar teacher. Yet when my students pose questions, I am unable to answer them correctly." However, when the time came to assess the Digvijay Pandit's composition, he immediately found fault with it.
You set him up.
The Digvijay Pandit said, "What can you understand? You haven't learned figures of speech. You are merely a scholar of grammar."
Oh, I just happened to be a Shrutidar. No biggie.
Nimai said, "Since I do not know, I am requesting you to enlighten me." When the Pandit asked which verse he should explain, Nimai promptly selected a verse from the middle of the Pandit's composition, which contained the term Bhavani Bhartu. Nimai pointed out, Bhavani means Shivani, Shiva's wife. Bhartu means the husband of Shiva's wife. Bhavani itself indicates that she is the wife of Shiva, and when she is addressed as Bhavani Bhartu, it gives an impression as if she has another husband. Hearing these words, the Pandit felt as if the earth, support beneath his feet, had disappeared. Nimai then asked the Pandit to continue speaking the glories of the Ganges as he had begun, but the Pandit could not say anything. He felt very ashamed, and all the students of Nimai that were present there began to mock him. Nimai chastised them and stopped them from mocking him. Through this pastime he taught to not transgress etiquette with such a scholar. Thus the Lord is the personification of humility. He enlightened the Pandit about his mistakes, such as Bhavani Bhartu in the verse. The Pandit felt intimidated, thinking, "I spoke the verses so fast, and yet Nimai picked one verse among them and found faults with it." The Lord replied, "By the blessings of Devi, one becomes a Digvijay, and someone else becomes a Shrutidar, one who retains just by hearing once." But did Chaitanya Dev become Shrutidar by Devi's blessings? This is why Thakur Bhakti Vinod, in his comments on the Shri Shikshashtakam Sloka, gave the meaning of Vidya Vadu Jivanam as Para Tattva Vidya, because knowledge is of two kinds, Para and Apara. One is Para Vidya, transcendental knowledge, and the other is Apara Vidya, knowledge about material subject matters. Here it is referred as Para Vidya. Specialists in Sanskrit grammar explain this as Ashlisha Dosha. So in his translation, Srila Thakur uses Vishuddha Saraswati, Vishuddha Vidya Vadu Jivana Rupa in his kirtan. Sri Chaitanya Dev advised the Pandit, "Now you may go and contemplate it tonight and meet me tomorrow for further discussions."
You're tired. Go rest and come back tomorrow.
But the Pandit couldn't sleep the whole night, thinking, "I've been all over India and defeated everyone in debate. And now, before this young lad, I had to face defeat." That Pandit had become a Digvijay by the blessings of Saraswati, so he again worshipped Saraswati nicely. He prayed to his goddess Vidya Saraswati, and she replied, "You are very fortunate. He is my husband. I cannot open my mouth before him."
Just one comment. We just read about Nimbudiya, and he appeared here as the Lord Gaura told him, "You will appear as this Digvijay," so that's what we're talking about.
Oh, nice.
Say that? Repeat it.
Vedanta Sutra Prabhu just added that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was speaking with Nimbaditya Acharya, the Acharya of what Sampradaya? Chatusan, or Four Kamara Sampradaya, and telling him how he wanted him to preach. Mahaprabhu also told him that you'll be so fortunate when I appear, and you will come and see my pastimes, and you will be Keshava Kashmiri, this one who is trying to defeat Mahaprabhu now. So it's all the Lord's pastimes.
Thank you.
You were very blessed to have had his darshan. Finally, the Pandit received the love of God. Only by satsang. Some Western devotees once came with a list of questions during Rath Yatra. One of the questions that arose, that was when Rohini Mata became pregnant with Baladev. Sorry, it's not clear. I think they're going to say,
Reading Chaitanya Bhagavat? Or
when
your
did
collection?
Rohini Mata become pregnant with Baladev? My answer was, when Nishingadev appeared from the pillar. Do we ask ourselves when the pillar got pregnant? What are the names of Nishingadev's parents? Is it possible? Another question was, milk is produced from blood, so what is the remedy? Is drinking milk the same as drinking blood? I replied, if a child drinks his mother's milk, does he kill the mother to drink her blood? Does the question of sin arise in drinking milk? No, because there is the mother's love in it. She feels happiness and bliss in feeding her child. The justification is that the act is done for the happiness of the other. The point I want to make here is such questions arise due to lack of satsang. By satsang, such doubts will be destroyed and no such drawbacks and shortcomings will remain.
Let's pray for satsanga. At the end.
Yes.
Srila Bhakti began Parvati Goswami Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
So, now we're going to hear from Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who will tell us more childhood pastimes, baby, child, and youth pastimes of Mahaprabhu for the remaining portion of this discussion, unless somebody would like to step up to the plate and share some pastimes. Anyone? Okay, so let's continue with
Oh Prabhu, you're not a book.
you are Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami yourself. You're Mahaprabhu and all your associates yourself. You're Srila Prabhupada yourself. Please all of you bestow your mercy on us here in Alachua so that we can realize what you're about to tell us as we're sitting at your lotus feet, that we can become free from all doubt in the reality, the total reality of Mahaprabhu's pastimes. So, we're hearing from Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. I have thus described the codes of the Advent. Now the Advent of Mahaprabhu will be tonight at what time? Moonrise.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Who appeared as the son of Mother Sachi, exactly as Krishna appeared as the son of Mother Yasoda. Now I shall enumerate the codes. He's giving everything in code form, succinct, of Mahaprabhu's baby pastimes. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the childhood pastimes of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself. Although such pastimes appear to be just like those of an ordinary child, they are understood as simply various pastimes of the Lord. In his first childhood pastimes, he turned upside down while lying on his bed. In other words, he went from like his back to his stomach or his stomach to his back. He was finally able to do that. And thus, he was on his back, then he was on his stomach. Why was he on his back first? How do we know? Because by turning to his stomach, his parents were able to see the marks on his lotus feet. When the Lord tried to walk, his small footprints, the specific marks of Lord Vishnu, were visible, namely the flag, the thunderbolt, the conch, the disc, and the fish. Who can repeat that? Flag, disc, fish, thunderbolt, and conch.
Which chapter did you say?
Oh, it's 14. Seeing all these marks, neither his father nor his mother could understand whose footprints were there. He saw the footprints because he was walking around like little kids walk. Thus, struck with wonder, they could not understand how those marks could be possible in their own home. So, Jagannath Mishra, Mahaprabhu's father, said, certainly, child Krishna is with the Shalagram Shila, because they worshipped their deity in the form of Shalagram Shila, that stone. Taking his childhood form, he, Shalagram Shila Krishna, is playing in our room. While Mother Sachi and Jagannath Mishra were talking, child Nimai woke up and began to cry, and Mother Sachi took him on her lap and allowed him to suck her breast. While Mother Sachi was feeding her child from her breast, she saw on his lotus feet all the same marks that she saw in her house when she thought it was her Shalagram Shila. So she called Jagannath Mishra, "What is all this? My son's footprints are the same as the footprints with all the divine marks of the Lord? What's going on?" So when Jagannath Mishra saw the wonderful marks, he became joyful and privately called Nilambara Chakravarti. Nilambara Chakravarti is the father of Sachi Devi, right?
Yeah.
And so he's also an astrologer. So she called him to read her son's chart, like what's going on here. So when he saw those marks, he smiling said, "Formerly, I ascertained all this by astrological calculation and noted it in writing, that is at the time of the Lord's birth. There are 32 bodily marks that symptomize a great personality, and I see all those marks on the body of this child." So what are the 32 marks? 5 of his bodily parts are large, 5 fine, 7 reddish, 6 raised, 3 small, 3 broad, and 3 grave. So Srila Prabhupada tells which ones it is. The 5 large parts are the nose, the arms, because his arms go down to his knees, chin, eyes, long, and knees. The 5 fine parts are his skin, his fingertips, teeth, hair on the body, and hair on the head. The 7 reddish parts are the chest, the shoulders, sorry I missed it, the eyes, the soles of the feet, the palms, the palate, the nails, and the upper and lower lips. The 6 raised parts are the chest, shoulders, the nails, the nose, the waist, and the mouth. The 3 small parts are the neck, the thighs, and the male organ. The 3 broad parts are the waist, the forehead, and the chest, broad. Like a lion. Mahaprabhu's like a lion. Broad chest, thin waist. The 3 grave parts are his navel. Well, what do you expect if the whole universe is coming out of it? His voice is grave, and his existence is grave. Altogether, these are 32 symptoms of a great personality. This baby has all the symptoms of Lord Narayan on his palms and soles. He will be able to deliver all the 3 worlds. He will preach the Vaishnava cult and deliver both his maternal and paternal families. I would normally be nervous when I see the pujari go onto the altar with the plate of boga, because I know that hearing the Lord's pastime is coming to an end. But now I'm not nervous at all. Why? Because we resume this afternoon. And he will deliver both his maternal and paternal families. So just let us know when you're ready to open the curtains so that we can finish our sentence. So I propose to perform a name-giving ceremony. We should observe a festival and call for brahmanas because today is very auspicious. In the future, this child will maintain and protect the entire world. For this reason, he will be called what? Vishwambar. What is he protecting and maintaining them with? He's feeding them with Krishna Prem. After hearing Nalambara Chakravarti's prediction, Sachi Mata, because they didn't know that he's God, right? So let's see how they reacted. And Jagannath Mishra observed the name-giving festival in great joy, inviting all the brahmanas. But still they really didn't believe it. They are like Mother Yasoda. She sees Krishna lifting a hill, but she doesn't really believe it. That's why she says, I'd rather he remain ignorant and not go to school and just stay with us. Fed first. When the brahmanas are pleased, then they bless the festival. Just like when Vasanti pleases me by bringing prasadam, I bless her. Perverted reflection. And then they bless everybody by chanting. The Lord began to crawl on his knees, and he caused various wonderful things to be seen. He caused all the ladies to chant the holy names of the Hare Krishna mantra on the plea of his crying. And while they chanted, the Lord will smile. So he'll cry until they chant and then he'll smile. Gauranga, do you cry until your mother and father chant Hare Krishna and then you smile? I see, that's good. After some days,
You could try it.
oh, you smile always because they're always chanting, right? Good. What do you say? What'd you say? You like when they do arti. That's why you're always smiling and you never cry. After some days, the Lord began to move his legs and walk. He mixed with other children and exhibited various sports. One day, while the Lord was enjoying playful sports with the other little children, Mother Sachi brought a dish filled with fused rice. Does anybody know what fused rice is? I don't either. And sweetmeats, and asked the child to sit down and eat them. Do you know, Mohini?
Koi. Koi, I don't know why they're calling it, why the English. You know how there's moody?
Yeah.
Which is puffed rice, and there's
Yeah.
koi, which is popped rice.
Popped rice?
You've seen the rice which looks more like popcorn than moody?
Yeah, it's kind of puffed
Yeah,
up.
it's popped, not puffed.
Oh,
That's all koi.
so koi is like a popped.
You have moody, which looks kind of puffed, and then you have koi, which kind of looks popped.
Oh,
And then you have,
so moody is puffed rice,
and koi is popped.
and koi is more big.
Well,
right.
it's popped. It kind of looks like it doesn't look smooth like moody does.
Oh, it's
It looks
popped.
like
Popped
popcorn.
rice. Oh,
You've
Thank
seen
you.
it. You've seen it. It looks popped, yeah, instead of puffed.
okay.
Yeah, that's
Thank
koi.
you. Koi.
That's what it says.
We have a Bengali here, fortunately.
Did it just say that he's playing with his
I'm
friends?
sorry?
Did it just say that he's playing with his friends?
He's playing with his friends.
Gauranga and I read the other night in Bengali.
Wait before you start.
I don't know. Because
Wait before you start.
we read in, no, it's just a sentence.
Alright, I'll repeat it.
I mean, we read in Chaitanya Bhagavat the other night that there's no game in the whole world that Nima doesn't know.
So, Vasanti is saying that she read in the
Chaitanya Bhagavat.
Chaitanya Bhagavat the other night to Gauranga that there's no game in all the three worlds that Nimai does not know. But when she returned to her household duties, the child, hiding from his mother, began to eat dirt. So she's bringing him this great popped rice and sweetmeats to eat. So then she goes out and she comes back, and there he is eating dirt, earth. Actually, it's not dirt. It's what's this? What's the Bengali?
Mritika.
Mritika's mud,
Yeah.
earth.
But you know what? I figured out why they call it peas, right?
Why?
Because you know how when you get that Bengali sweet made of koi, they make like they like stick it together. You always get koi as a sweet stuck together with gur, right?
Oh.
You know that one? It's like, well, it's koi stuck together with gur.
Oh, it's Gaura. Oh, then I know it. Oh, yeah.
No, it's
Gaura.
like they stick it together like Rice
Stick
Krispies.
together.
You know,
Yeah,
like Rice
sure,
Krispies, they stick it
sure.
together with gur.
Yeah.
And that's the sweet that she's giving him.
Oh, she's giving him that sweet. Well,
Yeah.
that's a good sweet. And instead, you see him eating mud.
Well, if you like it, that's you. I'm not a fan, but okay.
So saying this, she hastily returned, exclaiming, "What is this? What is this?" She snatched the mud from the hands of the Lord and inquired what. You have already given me earth to eat, so this is also earth. It's all earth. It's all coming from the earth. Rice is coming from the earth, isn't it? At least in Bengal we can see that. Here we see it's coming from the supermarket, but there they can see it's just coming right out of the earth. So fused rice, sweetmeats, popped rice, sweetmeats, and anything eatable is nothing but a transformation of earth. This is earth, that is earth. Please consider, what is the difference between them? This body is a transformation of earth, and all the eatables are transformations of earth. Please reflect on this, Mother. You're blaming me without consideration. What can I say? Gauranga, do you ever give good answers to your mother?
Yeah.
Sometimes. And astonished that this child was speaking Mayavad philosophy, Mother Sachi replied, "Who has taught you this philosophical speculation that justifies eating mud, earth?" Replying to the Mayavadi idea of the child philosopher, Mother Sachi said, "My dear boy, if we eat earth, transformed into grains, our body gets nourished and it becomes strong. But if we eat earth in its crude state, the body becomes diseased instead of nourished, and thus it is destroyed. Let's take a water pot, for example," Mother Sachi says. A water pot is a transformation of earth. So in a water pot, I can easily bring water, and you can drink the water from the water pot. But if I poured water on a lump of earth, the lump would soak up the water, and my labor would be useless. So jiva, there's a difference. Maya, there's a difference between one thing and another. The Lord replied to his mother, "Why did you conceal self-realization by not teaching me this philosophical truth in the beginning? Now that I can understand this philosophy, no more shall I eat earth. Whenever I feel hungry, I shall suck your breast and drink your breast milk." After saying this, the Lord, smiling slightly, climbed onto the lap of his mother and sucked her breast. Thus, under various excuses, the Lord exhibited his opulences as much as possible in his childhood, and later, after exhibiting his opulence, he hid himself. On one occasion, he ate the foodstuffs of a Brahmana. The Brahmana was a guest at Sachimata's house. And later, in confidence, he delivered that brahmana for material engagements. You want to share that pastime? Gauranga, where are you? Tell the story. He left. So the brahmana, he came to the house. Yes, Vedanta Sutra. Would you like to share the story? Come. Aye. Can somebody put the TV on him?
Okay, that's the last one.
Vedanta Sutra on TV.
No, it was like a
All the way to him.
It's a wide angle.
Is it?
It's a pretty
Not
wide
supposed
angle.
to be. We don't want a wide angle.
It's fine, more away from you.
Namo Mahavadaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namo. So, one day when Lord Chaitanya was a young boy, and there was a guest brahmana that had, because Jagannath Mishra had invited so many people, he was very welcoming to all the community. So one day this brahmana came, and as far as I know, there's no mention of what his name was. But he stopped over, and while he was there, he wanted to make an offering to his Gopal deity. And so he cooked some rice, and he made an offering. And right at that moment, Lord Chaitanya Nimai came and grabbed some of the offering and disturbed it. And he was very, the first time the Brahmana was, okay, this little boy is coming, he's eating the offering and he didn't know, he's an ignorant boy. So then he cooked again, and again he offered, and again Lord Chaitanya Nimai came and ate some of the offering. And this time he was slightly disturbed. And so then he cooked again. And again Nimai came. And this time Jagannath Mishra was very upset. And during these earthly pastimes, the Supreme Lord Gauranga, Jagannath Mishra playing the part of just an ordinary father, thinking that in this Leela, that let me lock up my son because he was very naughty, and so that this Brahmin can offer, because the Brahmin had threatened to not cook. He said, this time it's okay, I just will not offer to my Gopal, even though for so many years I've never skipped this, I've always done it. Today will be the first time because I to give up this service. So then Jagannath Mishra locked him in his room, and he again cooked.
They called Vishnu came. Vishnu came and pacified the Brahmin, apologizing and everything.
And so Vishwarup came and was pacifying the Brahmin, saying that go ahead, you must cook. And so again he cooked, and this time Lord Chaitanya came and displayed his identity as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the same as the Gopal deity. He says that, revealed himself as Lord Krishna himself in his form of Gopal. And he told the Brahmana that, he said that, yes, you're cooking, I am that same person, and I am just coming to accept your offering because you have done with so much love that I cannot stay away. And in this way, the Brahmin was in ecstasy and realized who this person was. And he fell over in ecstasy. And at that time, Lord Chaitanya also said, please do not tell anyone else. If you tell anyone else, then you will be destroyed.
I don't want to say exactly, there's different things that he was told to keep this in confidence. I don't know whether they've been confirmed. But we do know that the story somehow leaked out somehow, and Kaviraj Goswami had found out, and he puts it in this Chaitanya Charitamrita, this pastime. How do you go?
Thank you.
Nimai ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Vedanta Sutra Prabhu. Thank you very, very much. Beautiful relating. Here in Srila Prabhupada's purport, as Vedanta Sutra Prabhu mentioned, the Brahmin decided by the third time, well, I guess the Lord's loud. Hi, what is going on? What is going on? And at that time, seeing the Brahmin so agitated, he revealed himself, as Vedanta Sutra Prabhu shared so nicely. Formerly, I was the son of Mother Yasoda, and you used to come to our house. You used to come to the house of Nanda Maharaj. And I disturbed you in this way. I'm so pleased with you. And then, as you heard, he became in ecstasy.
He was Durvasa in his previous life?
No, he was just a guest.
In his previous life, I thought he was Durvasa.
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't say here. Did it say in the Chaitanya Bhagavata Santi?
No.
I think I heard it in Pekka. Sorry.
I think, therefore I am.
I chant, therefore I am.
Right. So Krishna used to disturb the Brahmin when he was visiting Nanda Maharaj's house in the same way, and now I'm just doing it again. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is continuing. In his childhood, the Lord was taken away by 2 thieves outside his home, kidnapping. The Lord, however, got up on the shoulders of the thieves, and while they were thinking that they were safely carrying the Lord to rob his ornaments, the Lord misled them, and thus instead of going to their own home, they brought him back to his own home and dropped him off. And everybody could see. Because Jagannath Mishra and Sachi used to profusely decorate him with golden ornaments. And since Lord Chaitanya is in control of Maya, the whole illusory energy, he put that veil of illusion on their head. Then another time, pretending to be sick, he asked some foodstuffs from the house of Hiranya and Jagadish on the day of Ekadasi.